Good evening, guys. Welcome to Joshin-Strike, and well, the podcast with the Moses, and we've got everyone's favorite superstar CS2 content creator and player for Arcade, Foggers. What's up, Ben? What's been happening, Foggers, man?
G'day. It's a lovely Friday evening. I got a cup of tea. I actually don't have a cup of tea, but just enjoying myself. You know, what isn't better? Oh, I can't even speak English.
So,
I don't know.
so
I
it's
don't know
not.
what I'm gonna say. I'm tired.
So the tea is not an English breakfast. That's what all I'm hearing. Not an English breakfast
No.
tea. It's a sleep tea. It's a chamomile tea that's putting you to bed, and
It's a nothing tea. It's a nothing tea. I'll say that for free.
because it's nothing.
Oh,
Damn, you.
yeah, it's legit nothing.
Anyway,
Well, I had pizza like an hour ago, so I'm like still like a bit comatose, but like not really. You know what I mean?
yeah. What sort of pizza?
Pepperoni, of course.
Of course, the only good pizza, and anyone who has any other pizzas are wrong. Okay, meat lovers.
Yeah. Exactly. That's so like basic.
Exactly. Anyways, okay. So recently, you've been doing a lot of some content as well. It's more of tips and tricks to help CS2 players out, in particular, as well as a player. I've got to say, what like sort of content did you do first, or even star in first? Like, what was your first experience in content creation? Not either by yourself, but as another person, like with another person.
I've always like sort of done like a little bit of content. Like years ago, everyone, especially in like the CS community, they do their frag movies.
Yep.
And it's like, it's a good way to like display skill, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But and then when I came back to the comp scene last year, I thought it'd be cool to like release like those voice com videos because I've always had some sort of interest in them, and I made a couple before I got banned, and like they did numbers back then, and I always like thought they were kind of cool. So I did a couple with like the help of like my editor and also a bit of stream highlights. But the thing was that's like I just thought it'd be like a bit of a niche thing to do because no one in Australia is really doing it. So when I finished my semester at uni, I just had so much more free time, and I was just like, what? Like, would I rather just like waste my time playing Elden Ring and just slaving away at the pugs, or do I actually be a bit productive? And productive I chose.
Yeah. I was going to say overall, because I remember the first not content you were in, was part of Defrag's video about betting in particular with the rivalry tournament. Is that right?
Yeah,
have I got a couple...
Oh yeah, you go.
Yeah, it was that, wasn't it? Like, was the first bit? Was there anything before that?
Not like in terms of like actual like content sort of thing. Maybe like I know I did some stuff with Defrag ages ago as well to like for in terms of like advertisement for like like those segments they do, especially like EPL, where it's like in between games and then they sort of have like those 3 minutes
shorter content.
Yeah. We had those. We did a couple of those years ago, but I haven't really seen them back, to be honest. But that rivalry one was probably like the first one I ever did that was like professionally done.
Yep, so I was going to say, because that was probably one of your better ones. Like, enjoyed that quite a lot. It was a good old educational piece, and also it's a bit of comedic at the same time. It kind of reminded me of that ad with Steel. You know,
the
Steel one. Yeah. So you're basically the Australian Steel. Okay, put it that way. Okay, which means you've got to be the best RGL in Australia now. A lot of pressure.
Hey, listen, I've got to overtake the greats in Australia. You know, we've got
Licky.
Yeah, Ben is a bit of a goat. We got Licky, we got Mizzy,
we
got Toby Brace Barnes, we got Apoc Dud, Chell.
Yep.
Just to name a few. Not Dexter, not Inns. They fucking suck.
Powerful words and really regrettable words. Okay.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Do you remember?
If they ever see that, they'll just be like, "Shut the fuck up."
You know what's going to happen next, Foggers? Okay, when FlyQuest versus you, they're going to remember this. They go see you get a kill. It's a 1v4, and they're like, "It's Foggers," and the knives come out and they start chasing after you, mate.
Yeah, legit. And if they ever do that, I'll just be like, just remember that one game at Ancient. They just tell me to shut up and all chat.
Oh man, it was funny because the realization when Kraz knifed Ali on Ancient, and then the realization that they were like, oh, this is Kraz and Anubis. They just all pulled their knives out at the same time and went after him.
Did that actually happen?
Yeah, that's what happened. Like they saw Kraz traded out Liaz and they're just like, bam, knives out because they knew it was him.
I can just imagine like the voice comes. I reckon like it was either Josh or Declan just being like, "Oh, let's just knife the cunt."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyways,
sorry for the profanities.
Anyway, as a player in particular, like I was gonna say, how did you get into CS:GO and CS2 in the first place? Like, where did your journey begin?
Journey began years ago. I sort of played it in high school, like obviously. I was focused on graduation and graduating. So I bought the game in like 2013 or something, like 2012, 2013. So I have a 10-year coin, but I didn't really play it until 2017, sort of thing. It was like one of those ones where I'd only play during like the summer or like or like the summer holidays or something like that. But yeah, 2017 I started playing Overwatch because that just came out, and like I got a really high rank in Overwatch. Like I got Grandmaster. And then I was just like, oh, this game's boring now. And then I graduated high school. And I was like, I need something else to like fill the time. So downloaded CS in like early 2018, and then went from like a level 3 face it shit talker that would just absolutely talk so much shit in ANZ Div 4 back in the day. Shout out the homies to where I am today, sort of thing.
Was there anyone that you played with that's still playing right now? Like, when you started your CS journey?
Or
even in Overwatch, sorry.
Overwatch, not really. I didn't really play in teams in Overwatch. I used to duo with an Overwatch pro before he became a pro. A Kraken. So he used to be, because he's a Brizzy boy. So he used to be in like my little friend group. And then he played Overwatch, and then someone from my friend group back then as well continued playing CS. Which he's an old school name. His name is Denny PB. He like sort of like got me back into CS sort of thing in like 2017, 2018. But the people I played with early in my career, the notable names would be from like probably the old Royals lineup, which consisted of me, Crafty, Versa, Danger, Clover.
Ooh, that's a scary lineup given how all of them have gone.
Like, that was in CGM as well. So like I remember that wasn't obviously my first team. Like my first team was like with people like Xfit and like Wagger and Froz and stuff, and then Parallax like was like my probably first amateur, like notable amateur team, which was not the Parallax that with like Raz and shit, but it was like me. All the most notable. We had so many iterations with like Pearl Jack and Cynical, but the most notable would be me, Artie, Chroma, Tax, and Docs.
Ooh, there's a lot of guys that are in Valorant now, I believe, right?
Yeah, Tax. Mark went to Valorant for a bit. Chroma, the old Wog and Fog we used to call each other back in the day. The old Wog and Fog, and yeah, that was a good time. 2019 was so much fun. Then I left them for Royals.
Did you rip that off from Talladega Nights? Shake and bake, walk and fog, mate?
I don't think so. I think we were just like chatting shit one night. And because Jack and I, we did a podcast do you remember when the bushfires happened? Like in 2020?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it was the really bad ones, Yeah,
the really bad ones. We did a stream for that. And I think we raised I think we raised like $2,000 or something like that, something crazy. But I think it was I know one bloke from the community. I think it was DJ. I really want to say it was DJ that donated like $500. I remember he was a really good person for that.
Yeah, because I think I donated 50 to it, as far as I know. I don't know, I donated to it.
Oh, really?
I do remember it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. But yeah, the name came from that. It was just like, we were just talking shit. We're like, we need to make it like fun. So we just called it Wog and Fog.
And then with that Royals lineup in particular, I mean, I'm going to say, Like, how'd that lineup go with Royals in particular? Was it very successful, or what sort of stuff you get with it?
Yeah, it was successful. I got kicked, funnily enough. If anyone knew me before 2021, I'm sorry. I was a bit of a cunt, still am. But sorry for my profanities once again. But in 2019, we came second in CGM, but that was to an Exto clan that consisted of Doris, Motion, DZ, Streety, Procro?
Either way.
I really want to say...
Either way, it's a very even matchup.
Yeah, it was like back then as well. That was like it was a really, really fun game as well. We lost 2-1. And I still remember like that was a really, really fun game we played. And it's like so funny, like not funny, but it's also like really cool to see like how everyone's careers has like gone from there. Like Shav being in Rooster now. Clover was on Mantra Flow and like dipping in other teams and playing at a high level. Riley and I, like Versa, have now rekindled and reconnected back on arcade. Yeah, and then Motion playing for Chiefs and all those boys, and yeah. But then after Royals, I went down a bit and then came back up with a Motion control roster.
Yeah, because you really like basically yo-yoed, being from the bottom of ECL, then being to the top of Open, and just hard stuck in that area until towards now basically in the last few seasons where you've got into a roster.
Well, we didn't. The first season that I came back with Eliminators, that was my first actual season of pro.
Okay.
Yeah, so the funny thing was we qualified the control roster with me, Motion, Doris, Falcon, and Pred, who was Pred at the time. Yeah. We qualified for MDL, and then that's when all the bans happened, right after we qualified. So it's that's chill. Yeah, but it was a lot of that was a lot of fun. Those were the golden days. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say,
but yeah.
Oh, sorry, you gonna continue?
I was gonna say, yeah, I haven't really played a pro season until Eliminators, and yeah, that was kind of fun. And my first season been top 4, even though I got hard carried, but those were the good old days, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity that they all gave me. And yeah.
So what did you get kicked from Royals for? Was it just
probably toxicity, to be honest. Either toxicity or skill or a mixture of both, which I feel like it would be a mixture of both, to be honest. It was 2019, so
Oh, of course, it's fine to say that. I don't mind. Of course, everyone's been an absolute dickhead back in their G days. I mean, you don't want to see me on RuneScape. I was shitting on people left and right. Okay, but anyways.
Yeah.
And anyways,
come GE, I'll fucking trim your armor.
Oh no, it wasn't that part. It was before the GE, bro. Okay, it's when you're rating clans and whatnot, and if they didn't rate my clan in the top 5, I went off on them. I got to 126 combat level in the end, but yeah, I just gave up on RuneScape. Was just bored of it, funnily enough. But I'm not the one being interviewed here. Okay, that's the main thing. But I'd say overall, talking about your band in particular, how did that go at the start? What did you do with it in particular?
I think I said it with the.
What did you get banned for? That's the main thing.
Originally they banned me for betting against myself, and then I remember the first month of it was just a massive piss take, because it's just because everyone on Twitter was also talking shit about it. It was just how can a lot of the people that got banned were they didn't break any of the rules, and there was no education and stuff like that. As I said, when I was playing Open, I was betting on MDL. Not a good thing, but now that I know you shouldn't touch it, I'd heavily advise not to.
Yeah.
But then because then they originally got me for betting against myself because I was under the org control, and then we got picked up by control just before we made MDL, but it was the 2 seasons prior. I think I bet against a control team which was like different to us.
Yeah.
And then they just associated the names, and then they're like, "Hey, you bet on yourself." But then after all the clearance came out, I got banned for 2 years for betting on a roster 26 or 27 days after I left the Money SCA, where there was actually like a 95-day gap between me actually leaving, like, because we didn't leave the SCA teams back then.
Yeah, I understand. So basically, you didn't play for 95 days, but you didn't leave the roster.
Yeah. So like, but I was like, and I provided like sufficient evidence to suggest that I was playing on like 2 different teams, and I was just like, I only played like 1 official with them, like unbanned me, but they didn't unban me. After they reduced my sentence, but you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they didn't reduce your sentence. Like that's like clear cut proof that it should be 1 year.
Yeah, but I think they wanted to save face because they're like, hey, this is supposed to be, this is supposed to be them introducing themselves to the scene, and then they realized they fucked up and wanted to save face.
Yeah, I mean, they gave clemency to a lot of people in particular, which I was really happy with. Like, my POV was that if you got 1 year, you should get clemency. If you got 2 to 5 years, you shouldn't, because it involves some sort of like knowledge, like that you were knowingly, intentionally like betting against yourself or anything like that.
If I felt like everyone should have been innocent until proven guilty, other than the other way around.
Yep.
But as I digress, what happens in the past has happened in the past, and you all live and learn. I remember I was all locked up with my brothers, me, Damio, Motion, Falcon, all locked up. Free the Mandem. Free the boys. Reckons as well. Free the boys.
What did you get up to during the ban in particular? So I asked that question as the second part. Like, what did you get up to? What did you do?
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't even hear that. I was a bit depressed for a year, and I was like sort of like living in limbo. But like it wasn't because of that. Like I was like my whole. Stop looking at me. Sorry. My whole like I was like just associate, like disassociating, but it wasn't like due to the ban or anything like that. Like I was just like sort of going through a rough spot, and then I was like, hey, I need to get my shit sorted. So I went back to university. I like changed course, and then I went back to university, and I've nearly graduated, which is really good. So I sort of like had to get my life in order, sort of thing, and it took me a little bit, but yeah, I just went out, lived life, went to university, worked a lot more. I got a decent job, and then I sort of quit it after 9 months, and yeah, like that's sort of it. Like nothing too much, nothing too exciting, and just playing face-up pucks with Falcon. Oh god.
Yes, I've heard the infamous that Swanky and Falcon at one stage like communicated in dog noises. They just barked at each other as comms. Is that true?
They wouldn't bark at each other, but like it'd be like Swanky'd be like, "I'm gonna run at the dog with a Mac 10," and then start barking. I love Swanky.
Dude, I love those two, okay? I love Swanky's dog, okay? Like, whereas Swanky, if Apollo's playing, it's fine, okay? Swanky's probably
He doesn't have a dog, he has a fucking giraffe. It's a big dog.
It is. Apollo's a huge dog, man. I've seen him. Overall as well, like, what did you study? And are you getting ducks, okay? Are you going to be the top student in what you're studying?
God, no. If I'm asking only Joshin for finance assistance, then I will not be the Ducks. I'm kidding. I was originally doing at my uni, they offered like a behavioral science and business, but I didn't really do any of the business units. So, and I didn't really like the behavioral science is like another word for psychology. So I realized I don't want to go down the psychology path, and I dropped that out, and then I went full-time economics and finance. Technically, like, even though I really want to like finish with a finance degree, but because I've already done so many economics units, I don't really want to change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to change my major to finance, and they're pretty much the same thing anyway. So
yeah, I agree with that.
So this term next year, I'll have I'll say economics degree, but I would have done more finance units than economics. But because I don't want to change it and spend another 20 grand on Hexstat,
Yep. Good.
That's fine.
Good financial decisions, in my opinion.
Exactly. They're the same shit anyway, so.
Yeah, like I said, the extra units I got, I think it was like derivatives was one of them, where it's more advanced, like corporate finance and treasury management is just more advanced, and you get taught calculus during it. They're like, oh yeah, we'll teach you a bit of calculus so you can calculate the value of options. And I'm like, oh god, like.
I was doing a unit last semester where we were doing like investments, and we touched surface level and like options trading and like bullish spreads, bearish spreads, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And this semester, which starts next week, I'm doing like risk management and derivatives, which is like
you're doing it
really sick. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was called treasury management back in the day when I did it. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and back in the day, so I was writing at 55% going into the exam, and I got a HD out of it. I'm like, I must have really just killed the exam.
Bloody hell, good shit.
Yeah, I was a lazy student back in the day. Like, so I'm not gonna blame you, man. I did the 50%ers mainly because I was part of a top 10 WoW guild in the world. So I'm just like, oh, it was a tough balance.
Focus on the WoW.
I'd recommend not doing that. But
I don't blame you.
Yeah. And now after, your first pro team in particular, how did you get picked up by Eliminators, given the fact that you didn't have much experience, basically?
Also by the top, sell the bottom, exactly right, contrarian. But I sort of trialed with them. I was known in the scene still, funnily enough, because I was just a massive shit talker on Twitter back then. And everyone around then, because I was also an FPL.
Yep.
While I was banned, and I sort of played a bit of FPL, but not too much. And I wasn't really the best player. Like I was really, really bad, especially after taking a year and a half or like a year off, say for example.
Yep.
But I remember like I grinded really hard for like the last 6 months of my ban just to build up my mechanical skill again. And there was a 1 or 2 week period where I was filling in for Vertex while I was still banned, just for scrims. Because they wanted to start the season, but I think Malta went to Japan. So I filled in for a week or two in scrims. And when they were so Vertex back then was also big scrim partners with DGG, when they were called DGG, like Eliminators.
Yep.
And and I remember like we'd always be versing them, and I just sort of like when DGG fell apart, I think something happened. I don't know who left. I think Gump left.
I think Gump went to Mindfreak, right? Or was it before that? It was one of those teams.
Way before that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but Gump went somewhere, and then
he went to India. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he went to India.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to India, and there was a spot opened up. No, there was 2 spots opened up because then it was like Will, Eddie, and Tom, and then they were trialing 2, and then it came down to me and Nor, who were the successful trialies. And yeah, I just put my hand up. I messaged Will because he was also. I played on control with him for the little bit as well. So after we made MDL, we kicked Doris. No. Pred left. So then we picked up Will, and Will was an AWPer back then. So Motion got off the AWP for him, and then we kicked Doris for KO. And yeah, one thing led to another. But there, I messaged Will. I said, "Hey Will, I posted my LFT as well on Twitter," and I was just like, hey, I'm going to grind. I'm really keen to grind. This, that, the other. If I understand if you don't want to trial me, but if you want to trial me, I'm really eager, and one thing led to another.
How's like your first few seasons with Eliminators? Like, was it, just getting back into the groove of things as, experienced player like a while ago? Or was it really tough to get back into the scene in that first season because you've been away from the game for about 2 years, maybe 1.5 years?
Yeah, eye-opening. Mind-opening. It was really difficult because, like, going from a pug mentality to, like, when I was, like, playing pugs, I was like a very active player. I still am a very active player. So I was like, just swinging everything, and then going from that sort of play style to just the heavy lurk and like heavy anchor rolls, I was like so out of my comfort zone. And like it was like really, really challenging for me, especially first season, because I was like, oh, like I know I'm better than this, and like I know I'm really good, and like I went into it with a lot of false confidence rather than like actual confidence. So I just like kept making shit fights, but it was very inconsistent for me personally. Like I'd have really good games and then I'd have really shit games. Funnily enough, and I kept like I tried hooksy like entering a lot and not clutching up.
I gotta say in particular, like, how's it, it must be hard getting used to those lurk and anchor roles because it's more of like a team-based environment. You're not gonna be the star player. You're just the guy who's just being, it's like the wiretapping on the phone, like, there's 2 moving off B, there's 2 moving off A. Like, how do you get used to that as a player? Like, how did you get into it, or did you move to another role?
No, I was grinding that role for ages. So as soon as I got it a bit more comfortable, it took me a season to like sort of get into the groove of things, even though like my stats, like I don't really care about stats. Everyone talks shit about my rating. I don't give a fuck. But like it's a lot of grind and a lot of repetition. Like I had to get my like a lot of reps in. And the one thing that was really good back then was like we were versing Vertex like 3 times a week. For like a 3 scrim block. So like we'd scrim them 9 or 10 times a week, and like especially versing a team like that. It was like especially on my first season back was like really good because it's just like you just like become so much more aware to everything. And even though like I was eating shit, but I felt very confident in like the team. Like I don't want to say shit stomper, but like the teams underneath me, I knew what they were doing, and like I could defend myself well. But it was just like the teams above me, I was just like eating shit. But yeah, it just a lot of reps to answer your question. Like a lot of demos, a lot of reps, a lot of aim training as well, because playing anchor roles, you have to get your 1 or 2 when they hit your bomb site.
Exactly. You have to like basically there's like backs against the walls. Anything you can do, just do it. Throw everything out the kitchen sink too. Stuff like that as well.
Exactly.
Also, I was gonna say, your lurk rolls in particular, is it like more of a shift from like, how do you even get used to it? Like, did you go through map piece by piece of like roles where you can hear stuff from here, hear stuff from here, percentages of you have to take a fight or not going into that position? Like, how did that go from the lurk roll? Like, was it more you trying to gather info, or was it, just the feel of it?
A mixture of both. So the way a mixture of both, funnily enough. The way Tom set up his back then, so I was like always the very passive lurker. So I would always be trying to get info and sort of take my timings, and then I'd either say, for example, like a map like Vertigo, I'd either like flank one of the bomb sites after the bomb's been planted, or I'd be grouping up with the team for an execute sort of thing. Like depending on the map. And my role back then was just to like gather info so then I can play in the clutch. Like or like the post plant sort of system. But yeah, it was really difficult. Like I think my T side roles was like the hardest to adjust to. I think I've adjusted to them now because like I've played in those roles for like the past year and a half. I've changed like the side, like the lurk, so like I'm more of the aggro side now. So like the best way to like the ins lurks, like how he's always aggro, taking map control sort of thing, like on the other side. Yeah. So and those are like I feel a lot more comfortable in those because I'm such an active player. So I also like taking a bit more risk, and it's also like a lot more intuitive where if you feel like you have a gap, you can take it as that sort of lurk. Whereas like the passive lurk, you can't really take. You'd rather give the info and then play with the team rather than just like taking a raid, unless you know for a fact you can win the round with that raid.
It's more like risk management, I suppose. Like, like, 30% I'll encounter someone here, watch out for that angle. In particular, like, for example, an Ancient, if you're the A lurk, for example, which you would be, like, it's like, well, I've got past the A main, could be player temple, could be player donut, the site's empty, just gotta creep in bit by bit sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You gotta take your chances, pick your fights.
Also, as well with the anchor roll, like how hard was that to get used to as well? Where like everything was just dependent on you. Like if you didn't hold the site for more than 5 seconds, it's just like rounds over.
Yeah, it took me a season.
Yep.
It took me a season, but yeah, it was again like I felt like I played anchor role back in control as well, like in all my previous teams. So I felt like I had a decent understanding on how to anchor, especially on some other maps, like Mirage. I used to be an A anchor, then I went to B on Eliminators, and then like Nuke I was sort of fine with, and like all those other maps, like I was fine with. So it was just like more just catching up to the meta, like because back then, like it was easy to know when when an execute's coming or like what's open or not. But then like these days, because Counter-Strike has developed so much in the past 2 years, it just took a lot more reps.
Yeah.
But it's like it was easy to get into the groove of getting back into those anchor rolls rather than the lurk rolls.
Yeah. I remember Liege has emailed to Kojimo, and he just states that you don't want your defaults to be too readable. Otherwise, as you said, as an anchor roll, you just know what's coming. And that's why it got harder for you, because you didn't know when it's coming, because everyone's defaults were like, we're not going to open with a flash. We're going to sneak right in, so you're not sure if they're coming in or not.
Exactly. And especially like versing Vertex back then, where it's just like, oh, they threw a door smoke. Oh, it's a pop. Oh, they threw a door smoke. Oh, it's not here. Oh, they popped on this timing. Oh, shit.
Yeah. What's any tips you can give to any players in particular who are trying to play an anchor role or a lurk role? Just your top 3.
For anchor, stay consistent with your aim training, because that'll become a lot more like, you can, when your back's against the wall, you can fight your way out. Keeping your life sort of thing, and don't be a hero. And for T side as well, I can say don't be a hero once again. If you feel like you have a read, it depends on what sort of lurk, but if you feel like you have a read, communicate it and try and like evolve a mid round around it, and just, I don't know, give info, I suppose. Focus on your communication, actually, yeah. Yeah, like, because like one of the things is lurk as well, because your IGL would be mainly in the pack, say, for example, towards mid. If you say like, oh, this is good, that is good, sort of thing on towards your side of the lurk, then you can like sort of set around it. And if you notice like tendencies, and you can exploit them and just win the round.
Yeah.
You can easily win a half, especially in MR12. Like win a half with just one call on your
Yep. On the information you get, you can just make a good mid-round call, or the IGL can. Basically like, oh, there's only one on A. Bam, everyone comes to A, and the B players are just like, where's the party, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and don't dead lurk. Stop dead lurking.
What is dead lurking?
Pretty much, like your team on Mirage, your team is hitting A, and like they're fully on the bomb site, and you're still towards B apps.
Okay, yeah.
Sort of thing. Like you're pretty much not involved with the round anymore. Sort of thing. Like
yep.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really good, but 95% of the times it's not good.
You want to be in a sort of role where you could just pick off rotators. You don't want to be in a role. It's like in chess, for example, where you've got your knight on the left or right side of the board. It's like, mate, it's doing sweet FA. Like it can only make like 2 moves, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to snipe your rotators, not fucking be blocked by a pawn.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually going to say as well, what players should people watch in particular for those anchor and lurk roles? What are ones that you learnt from the most?
Naf is really good. I think for Australian players, we should focus on watching domestic players.
Yep.
Like I think on lurk, I think Inns does a really good job on the lurk. Obviously, because he's the best player to come out of Australia, not to glaze. And ASAP does a good job as well. I would say back in the day, someone I actually watched a lot was Malta, funnily enough, because he was sort of playing more of the active lurk, but he would always like have really good reads and really good timings. And I remember like watching a bit of Malta, just mainly for his tendencies, but also just to see like how he sort of, takes fights and sort of takes all those sort of stuff. But also for like international, I feel like Naf is really good. He is very, very solid on both the lurk and the anchor. He's just like one of the most reliable players. And and Jimmy as well, Jim Fap. He's probably the best player in his role at the moment.
Yeah. No Stiko? Come on.
Stiko's washed, man. Stiko's washed. He's focusing on content. That's something I should stop doing. I can't go down the Stiko route.
No. Mate, if you want to go down the Stiko route, you got to just snipe Zero and get him developing your content.
Yeah, true. That's if I can afford it.
Like, have you seen...
I'm a one-man army right now.
Have you seen Patrick Zero's production? Like, he did a video for Ash, the Game of Legion coach. Holy moly! Like,
I haven't seen it, no. Is it good?
It's pretty decent, I gotta say, but the production from Patrick Zero, which is obviously ex-IG of Game of Legion, holy moly, like, dude. But also, the most important question of all, okay, did you ever beat Malta at scrims?
Of course. You know that video, I think, where they announced one of their players, where they're like, "Oh, we're just 30 or 28 like fuckers." I remember just watching that. I'm like, this motherfucker.
So what did you win in scrims? Okay, what was the score? Okay, obviously no stats, score.
They would win. That iteration was probably the strongest Vertex. Obviously, like they would win a lot of their scrims.
But did you beat Malta in the scrim? Like, did you beat their team?
Yeah, a couple of times, but scrims don't matter.
Exactly. Oh, at least you beat him. That's the main thing, okay? So, when he says...
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, it's when he says, beat you 24-8 in scrims, you could be like, yeah, but we beat you this and this in scrims.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you'd rebut with that and they'd be like, yeah, bro, it's a scrim. It's like, yeah, that's fair. It's cringe.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's your socials? If anyone wants to follow you, watch your content, what's your socials, foggers? You can type them in chat.
I can't be bothered. But it's Twitter's X is at Foggazos, which is good.
I'll type it for you.
Oh, really? Thank you. I think TikTok's the same as well. YouTube is just Foggers. You can just search it up, and Twitch is Foggers CS. It's anything to do with Foggers, so you can just like click on anything. You can find me anywhere, and then one thing will lead to another. And I've got a link tree everywhere. Yeah,
I was gonna say link your link tree instead. Probably a lot better. Yeah, so that's it for the interview sector. Overall, it was pretty good. Like overall, I got to learn a lot more about you. Maybe
for the interview.
Maybe we didn't get towards the arcade and Vex stuff in particular. You want to go on with your experience in arcade and Vex so far? Like that roster, I think it's making history. Like, how is that more of a step up from back in the OG days of Eliminators?
Yeah, I'll TLDR it for you.
Yep.
A, fuck Vex. B, yes, I think it's an upgrade. It's like, I think the roster when we were under Vex was like really good. But the only issue was that we always had a revolving fifth because either our players quit or got poached. So like, from your Wombat to Savage to Damio to and ESL fucking us. So all that sort of stuff. And when we picked up Ronan, like Tripless, that was a really good addition for us. And even though, like, and then after Tom leaving us, like Tom leaving was like a really big hit, but it's sort of like put this fire in all of our bellies sort of thing. And like Picky Versa was like really, really good for us. And he is just a beast. Riley's just a little goat. And even though like you look at our team on paper and it's just like it looks like a downgrade, but I think the style that Ronan brings suits us as individuals a lot more because it's like Tom's system was like really good because like we had like plays, it was like very reliant on like the map control. So like if the map control players were like doing their job really well, it made everyone's role so much easier. But like the beauty of like Ronan's system as well is like we all have like a little bit of extra freedom. So instead of like formulating like around our sort of form side, I can just be like, under running system, I can be like, all right, say for example like Anubis, I'll be like, oh, okay, can we start doing this? But then this is also really good mid round. Kobe, can you come with me? And then Kobe be like, yeah, sure. So then like Kobe can do a start round, and then he can like come exploit like a weakness that I've got, and there's like a lot more freedom with that. And I think we've adapted to it really well.
I just wonder, who's Ronan? Like, is he CS?
Oh, Triplus, sorry. Yeah, and Void is a beast. Void's he's a funny person. He's a funny cat.
Yeah.
Sorry for my language.
I was going to say, I have to change his name every time on my UI to, Void instead of Harry Potter, because he still goes by that name. Okay, and I have to explain to him, like, yeah, his name is nowhere near it. But let's get to the next part of the
let's get to it.
Yeah, we're going to go with this crazy week, okay? Okay, this week has been very crazy for ECL, but first we're going to go with the tame and easy one of the Esports World Cup, okay? So Esports World Cup has a wonky format, but, the first opening stage was just really business as usual, really.
Yeah, it was.
You had, like...
sorry, you go.
I'll say, go over the results. Sashi took a map of Mouse, but Mouse won 2-1. Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Vitality touring M80, pretty normal too. Spirit touring MIBR, same thing. FaZe beating FlyQuest in a close 2-0. I'm going to say overall, I felt that was really, really close.
FlyQuest should have won that. The way they were playing was like FaZe just grinded it. I think you made a tweet about it, how like FaZe will grind you out for the win. And like I think if FlyQuest, like, it was their game to win, and they did really, really well, even though they got 2-0'd, but like they played really well. I think they lost like a 4v3 and like another 4v2 sort of thing, and I think they lost both pistols on one of the maps.
I'm not terribly too sure. I could go into statistics if you want, but I'm just like, nah.
Overall, like they played really well.
Yeah. Overall, FlyQuest just can't close out games. I'm just so frustrated at it. Like, they just need a person that can be like, nut, doors shut, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. We just need Joshua in supporter to put his foot down and just say, all right, bitches, try and come in.
Yeah, like, overall, like, FaZe, like, it's not unusual. Like, FaZe is an antithesis, I'm going to say, of FlyQuest, because FlyQuest, they get early leads, but they can't shut that door. That door's always ajar. FaZe is one of those teams that, like, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's not like, oh, is the door shut? That's their question. If it isn't, we could open it, okay? Like, Carrigan's just like, never say die. The reason why...
He's old mate from The Shining.
Yeah, pretty much
like
it. It's like, here's Carrie.
Here's Robs.
Yep. But overall, like, they've done this for ages. I remember Ents, this is when they had the Snappy Ross in particular, because I talked to their performance coach at that time, which was Zerif, okay? And I was talking to Zerif, and Zerif is like, for having a full-on, like, she's having, like, obviously hearts beating really quickly because the game was really close. This is when FaZe lost to Ents 3-2, but it was like multiple overtimes each map. And she was saying, like, FaZe just kept on the edge of the seats. I'm like, this team just doesn't say die. Like, they don't. Because this is the way they got through the last chance stage, and it's Cloud9 as well. And they had to play so many BO3s to get to that. And that's when I just sort of realized, like, FaZe is just a never say die team. You can't really count them out. Like, even when FlyQuest had that amazing CT side of Anubis, it's just like, no, FaZe can get back into this. And as I said before, like, the biggest thing I think FlyQuest need to address, like, everyone's like going minus alley and whatnot, that's not going to help it. It's just the composure towards the late business end rounds. They just need to be able to just shut out the rounds and just close rounds away, and making sure that these tier 1 teams don't get on top of them. It's the consistency of maintaining the high quality, which they do have because they're winning rounds, obviously. It's just consistent to maintain that throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I feel like when the game gets closer towards the end, I feel like a couple of them try to go for a bit more hero plays. I think I only really watch the games live, and I don't watch the demos.
Yeah.
But like, it feels like one of them tries, like, over peaks and then dies, or like gets a kill and then goes for sort of more. And like,
yeah,
it's really hard to control that because they're 11 rounds up against FaZe. Who wouldn't be excited? Who wouldn't have adrenaline pump and throw them, sort of thing? But it's like, I feel like if that's, as you said, like the composure, like if they got the composure down pat, they would actually be a really good team. And like if they stopped being as streaky, like I don't want streaky. I'll say streaky. Yeah, if they stop being a streaky, then they will be actually a really good team. Like they have really good talent there, and like we've seen what they can do, sort of thing.
Yeah, because I gotta say, like every time everyone says minus Alistair, I'm just like, guys, you guys don't say this when Ali performs good, but at the moment he performs bad, you want him out of the team. It's kind of like the G2 criticisms where it was so overblown, it's not even funny. Yeah, I gotta say, like, let's just say Ints and Vex start become like super clutch. It's gonna flip the team around. It's gonna turn that 13-11 result to 13-11 FlyQuest's way. And we may get some like complete upsets as well. I mean, let me give you one example in particular. Mongos, okay? You remember that old roster score? And they fucked up a dominant lead against Astralis on Nuke. They like fumbled it so badly, and they were like fumbling games despite being way better than the opposition. And look at them now. Like, you know, with this younger roster, they actually have composure, which is crazy to me. And they're able to go deep, top 10 team.
Legit. Mizzino has ice in his veins, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like weird because like the Mongols back in the day, they used to. I think that a Charlotte game was like 11-3. They were up, weren't they? 11-4.
It was like,
and then they just like lost it.
It was like 10-4, and it was like,
and it was like one of those games where they had in their palms their hands.
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird, like how they get younger people that have a lot more composure.
Yeah.
That's something that they need to learn, though. They need to get out of Oz. They need to have a 3-month boot camp, and then they have to play in Oz, which is shit, to be honest. But because ECL and all the other qualifiers and stuff like that, so they have to stay here. But like, if they sort of just like, I really want them just to go to like Europe for 3 to 6 months, play those CCTs, play those like all those online comps, so then they could like build their composure. So then like once they start doing that, they can start closing games. They stop going for hero plays, especially when the game's on the line, and they just like actually start doing well, you know, and actually putting Oz CS back on the map. They're doing like a.
Did you take the script out of my hands? That's exactly what I was going to suggest. Like, get into CCTs, get into those tier 2 tournaments, like boot camp, half tier 2 tournaments, and stuff like that as well. I mean, Looking for Org did that, where they went into CCT and stuff like that as well. That's what I reckon they should do. Like, you know, just get into these tier 2 tournaments. I mean, CCT would love to have an Australian team there. They advertised Vertex. I know it was Bad News Kangaroos like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. They want Australian blood over there, funnily enough.
Yep. You want me to go through the rest of the results?
Oh, yeah, go, sorry.
Yeah, we had Na'Vi 2-0ing Furia, as expected, really. G2 2-0ing Mongols. That was actually another close game as well, where it could have gone either way. Blitz had an incredible clutch. Like, I think it was a 1v4 in the end. And last but not least, it was actually more surprising results, was VP 2-0ing Complexity. I didn't see that one.
I saw it coming. Yeah. I am a massive VP fan.
Oh, so am I, but I expected it to be at least like 2-1 or a bit closer.
Yeah, I would have thought. I didn't know it was actually that much of a stomp. I saw the 2-0. I remember seeing the 2-0 before we started talking. I was like, oh yeah, that's like expected. It would have been like a 13-9, 13-10 both maps, but 13-9 and then like a 13-4, and like it's just weird to see like the downfall of Complexity. To be honest. Like, and then they lose to M80 as well, which you'll touch on later. But like I'm a massive VP fan, so like I really like I like seeing it for like myself, but it's also like, damn, what's happening over there?
Let's talk about it now. Let's get to M80 and Complexity. What a performance by Lake. Okay, Lake's been talked about in the American scene. I've casted him a few times. That guy is a workhorse. That guy, I think he was being RGL'd by Wildco, got 26 kills. Was an absolute workhorse. Like, he just couldn't be beaten. What a way to introduce yourselves in a tier 1 tournament, by being a top player, by coming back from Complexity, being, I think it was 11-4 up at one stage, to win in overtime 16-14. And how happy must M80 be that they've finally done that? Like, Swisher must be like, finally, relief. He's like, oh.
I'm finally not being gatekept, thank God. Yeah, that was insane. I actually haven't checked because I think I was at work when this game was no, it was last night. Because I remember waking up and going, like, I was on my way to work and I went on Twitter, and I think I saw like Jason like at like 11-4 just say like let's close it now or something, or like said something smart RC. And then like they just came back and just grinded the game out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like what a fucking 1.25 rating, 25-20 on his first like tier 1 LAN.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Like the rest of the team's scoreline doesn't really look really good, but I think they had a really good, really big impact. And I feel like even though the system may be built around like getting a lot more, because I'd assume he'd go into Molb's old roles.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a really sick performance from him. He's done really well.
I was going to say one question in particular, is it worth like Australian teams in particular? Because obviously M80, what they've done, they've gone from the German IGL, the German AWP. Would it be worth for some Australian teams to try that in particular, going for a European IGL or a European AWP? And I'm going to say obviously the European AWP is probably my guess because Australian AWPers, who? That's pretty much it.
Who? News to come out soon.
Oh, no. What I'm saying in general, I'm just saying in general, like, who you got in Australia after Ali? Like,
yeah, you got no one. Like, I think like the second best AWPer we have is Chell.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
And then like after that, it'd be like I really want to say APOC Dud, but APOC Dud he's a better rifler. Like he's a really good AWPer, but he is a strong fucking rifler. And like
underrating Night Raid here, okay?
My list, I'd go APOC Dud, PZ, or APOC Dud, and then like Versa, PZ. At the moment, like I want to see Geordie back. I think Geordie's really good, but like I'm just talking about like this season. Like people are actively playing. I put Geordie higher normally if he was still playing, and then probably Pain and Night Red.
Yeah, actually, I guess overall, I usually avoid AWPers or also IGLs because it's just like, obviously, with the European AWPer, for example, for that rumored Talon roster, they're not trying to grab an IGL because they've got Azza. So I always do that automatically, and I'm like, that's why I exclude like Night Raid and Chell because it's just like, you're not looking for an IGL though. So yeah, like with Australia in particular, like look at the AWPers that we've lost now, which is Sicko, that's big experience gone, Sterling. And now PZ, that's a lot of big experience gone. And that's what's created this real big gap, is that when anyone says minus Alistair, okay, I'm just like, who are you going to replace him with? You're going to replace him with Pain, DPR, who are young, potential high-ceiling AWPers? You got no one with that. And you got Versa, who's, Versa switched to the AWP, I believe, like 2 years ago, is that right?
He was AWPing when he was on Royals.
Yep, okay.
And then so he was our AWPer back then. And then when he went to Paradox, that's when he went on the rifle.
Yeah, like, overall, like, it's like, he's not up there as an AWPer yet, like, as in, like, where Alistair is. And it's just like, we don't have much of an AWPing pool in particular. And this is why I agree the direction that Talon's rumored to take is by going for a European AWPer, because I'm just like, like, if you look at Australia in particular, like, you have to buy out Pain from Mindfreak, assuming he's got a buyout. Night Red and Chelios, you already got your IGL and Azar, so that's a waste of time. Do you like poke around to PZ? Do you poke around to Sterling? You check if Sicko's interested? Like, I think they've probably already done that. It's just like, then who do you go?
European AWPer.
Yeah.
Go to European AWPer. Start knocking on a couple of tier 2 orgs. Hey, what are you doing?
Yep, exactly. And hopefully they've done that. Now, let's go through the other results as well. We go with Sashi beating Jihar, which was completely expected, but it was a bit close. It was 13-8.
Yeah, Summers is the little goat.
Yep. I'm just going to say we're here with Jihar. I think they've been very hard done by. I mean, you come all the way, it's like Kerja B and stuff like that as well, to play a BO1 and get eliminated. I think that's a really, like, indictment on the format. Like, I think at least give him a BO3. Like, a lot of these games in particular, especially Mongols, NBBR, Complexity and M80 especially, Fury and FlyQuest, would have been better served with a BO3, especially that American BO3. Can you imagine how many viewership records that would have broken between those two teams?
Yeah, it would have been sick. Yeah. Like, if they got a BO3, like I do agree with you, they got really hard done by just flying halfway across the world just to play a best of one against whoever it was. Yeah, Sashi. And then just getting eliminated, like, that's fucked. And like, I think, like, they would have pulled, because I reckon they would have pulled a lot of numbers, like, if they play the best of 3. Because, like, not only are they a Chinese org, but they have, like, a lot of, like, people, especially like Kirby, where everyone would be interested in that. Everyone would be interested in, like, those sort of like old people coming back being like, oh, how are they going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, the last one we're going to talk about is obviously, we'll talk about Mongols beating MRBR 13-2. That was really shocking to me that MRBR got absolutely swept aside.
And Sunny's a goat, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they didn't look in it. They didn't even log into the server, it felt. Last one, we've got Furo v FlyQuest. Why do Australian teams have like a bogey team and a Brazilian teams? Because I can say on paper, FlyQuest should be beating Furia. Should be close, like 13-10, 13-9. How do these Brazilian teams keep beating AU teams? It's not just FlyQuest either. There was bad news Kangaroos when Fury was like going through the ground. They couldn't get a map off them. And then you have Rooster as well, who couldn't beat them as 0-0 Nation. Like, what's going on?
I want to say I want to give excuses, but I think the biggest one is like stylistic sort of things. Like, you'll always come against opponents where you'll stylistically be better than. And I think Furia play, like, all these Brazilian teams play a style that we're not comfortable with, and it's mainly like those more aggressive, like, solo plays, which you don't expect.
Okay.
And like, I think that's why FlyQuest also did very poorly at the last RMRs, because like they didn't expect Starry or G just to like solo push you, and it's just like, what the fuck, what's happening, you know? And like, I feel like that's what all Australian teams aren't really good at. Like, we're good at punishing them in Australia, because we verse these players all the time, and like they don't do it appropriately. But it's just like, you verse these other teams, and you're like, okay, they're gonna play some teams Counter-Strike, and then you have Quesarado and Cello running at you, and you're just like, what can you do?
In other words, they got a lot of like 1% plays that they will go for, and they will be very successful with, and you're just like, they did that by themselves? Like, what the hell? Like, it's just they're not used to it.
Yeah, exactly. They're not used to it.
Talking about Fury in particular, like they actually got through the playoffs in the end by beating Mongos. They had a big overtime game against Sashi, 1915. Mongos unfortunately deflated M80, and then Fury got through on a 13-9 against Mongos. What do you think about that one?
I thought Mongos would have made it through, to be honest. Oh yeah, Quesarado went huge here, actually. What the hell? Yeah, I would have thought Mongols would have went through it. It's good to see. Like, I feel like this is like, because Furia would have no pressure going into this. I feel like, because they're a new team and they're just like sort of testing the waters.
Yep.
So they're just like playing with no pressure, trying to, like, they're playing very free and very loose sort of thing. But I was very surprised waking up this morning to see that Mongols lost to Furia.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, me too in particular. I was like thinking, like, if Complexity gets eliminated, Mongols is the next team up, because that bottom bracket is highly competitive. And I'm just sitting there with Fury being like, yeah, this team is not that great. I mean, this team's been underperforming greatly. I'm going to say I think Skulls has finally found a new place given how his Liquid trip went, because his Liquid trip went awfully. And I discussed this with, I believe it was Eddie last time, or Kraz, that, I don't know, I think it was Eddie, that Skulls was just representing the emotion of the Team Liquid team, where it's just like he's getting two different things, and he's just caught in paralysis.
Yeah, legit. He was just like sort of existing rather than just like being him, you know? I think him going to Fury is actually really good.
Yeah, same.
Not only for him, but also for the org. Like, I think, I don't know who else said it on Twitter, but that means like Cello's also a lot freer, and he can go back to his like more active roles, like his like rotate and pack roles, which like suits him a lot more. And there's like no more role clashes, and you can just chuck Skulls in the lurk roles and the anchor roles, and he'll just do well. And he's also speaking his home language, which is like really good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Instead of like this broken, like, he had good English, but like going from speaking Portuguese to four different accents of English is very, very difficult, I feel like.
Definitely. Talking about, obviously, conflict clashes in particular, or conflict of roles in particular, we'll go to G2v Spirit. Now, this one was a BO3 for the ages, okay? G2 defeating Spirit 2-1, and Malbs, their new recruit, starring as well. What do you think about this one? I think it's a great by G2. I mean, especially the third map where Monacy didn't even fire off at all. Monacy was bottom fragging. And that's one of G2's like win conditions is Monacy.
Yeah, he was integral. But I watched this game live. I started tuning in on Nuke, like on my way to work, and it was like it was a really entertaining game. And like I knew for a fact after they grinded out Nuke, they would have won Ancient no matter what. Like whoever won Nuke was winning Ancient. And well, obviously, you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like if G2 won, which they did, they were. I'm gonna. Anyway,
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
yeah, but like it was like Dean Donk just like absolutely get diffed. It was like really really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And he let his emotions get the better of him, and Mobs he didn't look comfortable on Nuke, but I remember watching the game live on Ancient, and I was like, his T side was just like really, really strong. I think he got like 12 kills, let me check. Yeah, 11 and 7.
Yeah.
Like he looked very comfortable on his T side, but like not his CT. I know he fed once or twice on CT. I was just like, what are you doing? Even I would make that play. But yeah, he's slotting in pretty well. Even though there's like a lot of role clashes, I feel like if you give these guys reps, then they'll be good. But I'm still not too sure about Snacks. But hey, I can't really talk. You know, did you sign the "I'm sorry" to Snacks letter?
No, I didn't doubt Snacks at all. I said he was like a like for Hooksy pretty much, which he is basically. Like I think it's just like with G2 in particular. I said this with Kraz and Eddie in particular is that they're free players. Nico, Hunter, and Modesty makes that entire team. Like it's like the IGL all has to do is just round them out like cattle, and that's it. Just tell them what to do, and that's it. And they win. And now they've got that 4th win condition in Malbs, and it's just like this team should be winning a lot. I was really surprised with how well like this team won games without Modesty performing, because Modesty has been hard carrying G2 for a very long time. And the fact that they can win without him now is actually really good for this team. It's actually really scary to everyone else that Modesty does not have to perform. And they can still win. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like I'm looking at it now, like at the stats. I'm really surprised that he only went a 1.04.
Yeah.
But like he went nuclear on Nuke, which is like weird.
Yeah, he made
like I didn't know how little impact, or I don't want to say little impact, but like how he didn't actually do anything in the whole series.
Yep.
And they still won it.
Yeah, like that's the thing, because like basically previously, like with G2, if they won a game, Modesty was their top player.
Modesty, Nico.
Yeah, it'd be Modesty, Nico, Hunter, whatever. That would be the top 3, okay? And it wouldn't be like, Modesty like 30 and 2 or whatever it is, and then Nico with like 10 and 16. It was like Nico was really close. And yeah, basically this time around, the win condition is not Modesty anymore. Modesty had to perform well for G2 to even have a chance to win. Now it's Modesty doesn't have to perform, and they can still win.
Yeah, exactly. He just needs to get his 1 to 2, and he's on.
Yep. And that's pretty much it for the Esports World Cup. I think overall the main things to focus on is that G2's back, okay? So they've put their sticker on the window and they're like, we're back.
We're back, baby. Who do you think's winning it?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'm going to say, this is the worst part, because you got those 7 teams. Fury, ignore Fury. Fury's going to get eliminated at some point. Okay? You got those 8 teams. You know that Professor McGonagall meme is like, why is it always you 3? In CS2 style, why is it always you 8? Okay? You got your Virtus Pro, you got the Vitality, you got a Na'Vi, you got the FaZe, Complexity, obviously, as well as the other one. You got your Mouse, just G2 and Spirit. And you got all those teams that are really, really good and have a chance of winning it. And it's like, pick a winner, it's just like, oh, fuck, I hate myself so much. But I'm going to say that FaZe are probably going to win this. I reckon they'll grind this one out to win it.
FaZe? Yeah. I'm going to say FaZe VP final.
Yep.
FaZe win.
This is the worst part, though. Like, it's so hard, because a lot of people give people crap for bad predictions. But it's just so hard to predict this, because all these teams have like good players, and you got Mouse, you got your Jim Fat, you got your Na'Vi, you got your JL and Ema, you got FaZe, you got your Rops and Frozen and stuff like that. And then you got your G2, you go through the teams, you're just like, they've got so many win conditions that they can win on a given day. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I do agree. Pimp, we got very lucky on his top 5 predictions that Na'Vi was 6 instead of 5th. But I do agree with him. Like, it's like, you got to pick 3 of these teams to be out, and everyone's going to be mad at you regardless.
Yeah. That's what I love about Counter-Strike. Oh. You can, it's always going to be like the top 6 teams, or like, that always have a contention to win, any sort of tournament.
Yeah. That's why I like you with IM Dallas. I'm just like, FlyQuest is so doomed. It's not even funny. 6 playoff spots, and there's 6 of the teams that expect us to make playoffs. I'm just like, yeah, we're fucked. Like, I think I wrote in my article, I'm just like, yeah, I don't see a path for FlyQuest. They're gonna get knocked out early because, like, they verse FaZe, they verse Na'Vi, they verse one of those teams. Like, yeah, they're gonna get fucked. Like,
yeah, good luck getting past that. The gauntlet.
Yeah. Because I think it was one of them. I think it was, I'm trying to remember if I am Dallas, but I'll come back to it later. But it was just like 4, it's like heroic as well with 3 of the 6 teams that were going to make playoffs. It's just like, yeah, you're not going to get past any of them. But let's get to ECL. Okay, this is what we're here for. You played in 2 of these games today for Arcade, or not today, yesterday, against Bad News Kangaroos and Arcade. And I think we're going to start off with that. How does it feel to take a map off BNK?
Just another day in the office. Just another day in the office. No, it's bittersweet because we had to play with a sub as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember, like, we went into the game with no pressure.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's, like, the beauty of it as well. Like, us playing with a sub and, like, Kobe had work and he couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
And, like, he's our map control guy. Like, he's, like, our main, like, player, right? Like, he's in those, like, roles where he has a lot of impact, and playing with, like, Kibster in those roles, like we just pretty much told Monk, this is what you need to do, do it. And he did really well. Like, he's been messaging me all day. He's like, bro, like, I could have played better on Inferno, but all of his kills legit won us rounds.
Yeah. I'd say Monk is obviously Kibster, right?
Oh yeah, Kibster. Sorry. Yeah, Kibster. Like, Kibster was like messaging me all day. I'm like, bro. He's like, he said he only got 2 kills on the T-Side Inferno, but like, he was controlling Nana. It was so funny seeing how he diffed Brace and your Wombat on that. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, it's just like, how are you taking, like, why aren't they contesting Nana? How are we taking Nana off them?
Yeah.
And Saxon was doing really well, and we just played with no pressure.
I was going to say, I'm surprised Kipstar was like, you know, over-analyzing his own plays. Coming as a sub, both games were 13-10. It's just like, why are you getting concerned? They were very close games.
He loves playing officials. He's very competitive, and that's what I love about Kipstar. He loves it. I asked him, I was like, do you want to sub? And immediately, yes, bro, yes, get me in there.
How does it feel like, you know, with your confidence going further on the season, in particular, you've taken a map of BNK, which, you know, helps your playoff prospects because if you win all the other key matches and you've got the extra W in your back pocket. How do you think it's going to go for the rest of the season?
It helps us with our confidence, obviously, going through. We versed we were supposed to verse KZG last week.
Yeah.
Or like the week that just passed, but now we're versing them on Monday coming up. So we got KZG the Mind Freak Monday and Tuesday. And even though, like, I really want to say, like, BNK are still a really good team. They just need a bit of time because Toby's system takes a lot of time to develop the players, so then they can understand their freedoms and stuff.
Yeah.
And Toby being Brace. And like, they just need a bit of time for, you know, Omichella and all that sort of stuff to get in, like, to adapt to those play styles and into those roles. But yeah, that map win is actually really huge for us because it means a lot more for us because, you know, we might get, you know, if we get 2-0'd by Rooster, if we 2-0 like all the other games, say, for example, that puts us in third in the season, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, it just adds a bit more like variety into the rest of the season as well, which is like really, really good to see.
Yeah. Let's talk about the other games in particular. It was DXA v Rooster. Okay, that one was a bit of a surprise as well because they also had a sub. Oh, no, sorry, they did have a sub for this game, okay? DXA v Rooster.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out. I can't really say. But that's not the 5. I'll say that much.
Okay, so Hats is not the 5th? Well, Hats has been, like, you know, he's been...
No. I thought you meant DXA. No, Hats is doing really well on Rooster.
Okay. DXA for the 5th. Yeah, I'm not sure, because I think Kraken was in there as well. Obviously, Zuko's DXA's 5th at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because that's been announced.
One of their players. Yeah. One of their players recently quit.
Okay, so we're way on that in particular. But I've got to say, like, you know, DXA took him out for Rooster.
It was really good. Yeah, that's a really good, like, that's really surprising. I think it was an Anubis as well, wasn't it?
Yep, it was on Anubis.
And they did, 13-10 on Mirage, which they lost, 13-8, which they won. That's surprising.
And 8 CT rounds as well.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at the CT lineup now. Like, Zuko went 9-2, Lucas went 7-1, Rocky went 11-8. Like, they put in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's really surprising. Rooster are really solid. Like, I feel like this is... Obviously, losing Nedic is, like, huge.
Mm-hmm.
But Hats, like, Hats is doing really, really solid. Like, I versed them in scrims there. Like, we offer scrims and whatever against them all the time. And they look really, really strong.
Yeah, I'd say overall, like, Nedic is, like, with Nedic and Rooster, even though Nedic is a very good player, I don't think Rooster lost too much, given the fact they could probably put ASAP in those star roles as well, and they'll probably get a similar performance out of him, because ASAP is very, very good on the rifle, similar to Nedic's roles, even though he's good on the lurk as well, but he can aim. Like, ASAP's got that aim training. He's probably spent 20 billion hours on Face It, because I fucking see his ranking all the time, and it's just, like, unbelievable. I've seen him solo carry games himself, so he, definitely can do that. I think they didn't lose too much by losing, like, even though Nedic's a great player, okay? Let's caveat that.
They lost, like, I was going to contradict you. I think losing Nedic is a lot.
Yeah.
Like obviously, so obviously the team was built around him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you can't really put ASAP in those roles because I think on CT, yes.
Yeah.
But at the moment, like, as I've, like, watched in the games live, like, TJ has slotted into those roles, which I think is, like, really, really good for them. Because TJ is that active player. Like, I love to talk shit about him. And, like, I'd love to talk shit about him, but because, like, he's his character. But like, him slotting into those roles is, like, really, really solid because he's that aggro, like, player.
Yeah.
And he's not scared to take risk, and that's what they sort of need. And ASAP can do that on CT, but I feel like he's already in those other micro, like, those smaller rotate roles.
Yeah.
So like, him and Danger being together is, like, really good, and that means, like, Hats is more comfortable on anchor and lurk roles, and, like, I know Hats has always wanted to play anchor and lurk, and, like, that's where he's always wanted. Feels like he can bring the most to it, and him being in those sort of roles, being paired with TJ is, like, really dangerous.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, I forgot to mention as well, I should have said TJ and ASAP can take Nedic's roles in particular, no star players roles. That's my bad on that one, but I feel like it's like, in the role department, like, it's like Nedic's big hole effectively can be filled, like that absence that he leaves from Rooster. So I didn't think it was that big as, for example, for BNK, where they lose their star fragger and their star anchor, which is just like fucking putting the Jenga blocks out as just like shit. And I didn't view it too badly for Rooster. I felt, of course, it's going to impact them because Nedic's a great aimer, probably one of the best players in the AE region at the moment. But it's not as much as compared to BNK.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. BNK got the short end of the stick.
Yep.
100%. Rooster still they got the best they could, to be honest.
Yep. And,
like, they're looking really strong. But, like, yeah, BNK losing Addict and Hazards is fucked.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Mindfreak, okay? Mindfreak is the only team that has performed as expected, other than their 13-1 loss on Nuke against Rooster, okay? All these teams have these remarkable upsets against other teams, but Mindfreak is still the same old boring Mindfreak, okay? They're the normal ones, okay? It's like all the other teams, Mindfreak's like, why can't you guys be normal?
Yeah, that's fair. Like, what is it? Where is it? Yeah, I was surprised they lost so many rounds on Nuke, to be honest. They didn't have a good T-Nuke, but they've been on two sides of the spectrum. They go from versing Rooster, who are, like, looking really strong, to versing Mantra Flow, and it's just like, you can't really place them anywhere yet because they haven't had, like, an exciting matchup.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Overall, said for Mindfreak, because I cast these games on Nuke, their Nuke was really sketchy on the T side in particular. They kept really trying to force their way into sites instead of just displacing Mantra Flow. Like, they were trying to force, like, some hard squeak executes, hard mini executes, and they were just really trying to force the issue through. They were, like, taking on fights. It's like, mate, like, the object's not going to move. Like, you're going to just get slapped in your face. But I've got to say, Gump said on the interview, that they were so nervous on that second pistol round. They were down 9-3. Like, so nervous they were sweating.
Unlucky. Like they did a good grind though. They did a good grind to come back.
Oh, definitely.
I respect Gump so much. He's a good bloke. Yeah, he had a good CT. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think Mind Freak need to actually scrim. I don't know. Like I haven't seen any like offers come from them in the past couple of weeks. I think it's like my understanding was like a couple of their players on holidays. Mm-hmm. So I think when they start actually grinding the season out again and like actually start getting into scrimming and whatnot, then they'll get back to their business as usual. But they're looking like they haven't had much exciting results, to be honest. Like beating Mantra Flow as expected, losing to Rooster as expected. Mm-hmm. They had a really good end season last season.
Definitely.
Like they did have a really good run. Mm-hmm. And like beating BNK, like even though the news was already out or like the rumors were out, like BNK was still scrimming, and like beating them was really good. I think they took a map off Rooster, which was like also really good.
Yep.
And they had a good end of season. It's like if they keep that level of like consistency or like get back to that level, then they'll do good.
Yeah, I should have asked Gump that question. I did ask Gump, but maybe he did touch on it. Like, a few people had holidays. He did mention as well that they hadn't taken any scrim requests. He did say, I think some people were on holidays, and some people just only got back and whatnot, and that's why they had taken 3 weeks. So I've got that one answered for you, so I can help you out. Yeah, they did say that. They were very rusty as well. Now let's get to Tuesday, where the mindfuckery started, okay? DXA beating BNK after losing Inferno 13-5. And they were down, I believe, 11-1 at one point on Inferno.
Yeah, they were. And I think it was 11-1 CT.
Yeah. And then they turned it around to win Anubis 13-4. Okay, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, mate. I could not believe what I was seeing. I was like, the DXA, they're going to fall apart. Yeah, I was casting it. And I was like, DXA, they're going to crumble apart on, CT side, Anubis. But no, they did it again. They did it. This is the first time they won an Anubis CT side with a blistering sort of start. Like, they did it to BNK, then they did it to Rooster. I think it was like, let me see. I think it was 9 rounds on the CT side. Yeah, like I was sitting there going like, DXA getting lucky a few rounds. They got 4 CT rounds. Yeah, that's decent. That's what they would get. That's all they get. 4's all they get. And they just denied BNK over and over and over again. And I'm just like, are they going to fucking win this? Like, especially after losing Inferno like they did. I did see some wheels turn, but I'm just like, nah, it's not going to be enough. BNK is going to put them in the cage again. It's going to be like, fuck off, mate.
It's funny because, like, DXA don't play Anubis. Like, I'm probably, like, leaking something, but they don't play Anubis. They haven't scrimmed Anubis. And, like, the 3 times they've played Anubis, once against us at Guam, where they beat us, once against DXA and once against Rooster, they have a 100% win rate. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And like it's so weird because I was watching the Inferno game, but because we had one person away, so we weren't scrimming. That's why we had to reschedule that game actually.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of us were on just like going through like our notes and like having like a bit of an extended debrief and like watching demos and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, BNK won first map. And then, like, we tune in, like, 20 minutes, half an hour later. And then I remember just, like, tuning back in. I'm like, holy shit, Pracham's 12-4.
Yeah. Do you, have any idea, like, how is DXA so good on their CT side? Because this is not a CT-sided map. This is a fucking T-sided map. And they get, 8 or 9 CT rounds. It's just, do you notice anything in particular of what they're doing that makes their CT side so good?
I think they're just pushing B main. Like, I think that's it. Like, the 3 rounds that I actually actively watched, they just pushed B main and got the kill every time. And if they didn't get the kill, they just kept walking.
I made a comment. They were watching your shorts, okay? They stopped smoking B main.
Yeah, they stopped smoking B main. Look what happens. You beat BNK 13-5 or whatever it was. Yeah. What was it? 13-5?
No, it was 13-4. 13-4. Oh, you give Grace an extra round, mate.
Oh, you got to give him a little bit of an ego boost.
Yep. And last bit on least, we got the normal result. Oh, jeez, MJ, can you be a bit more exciting? Can Mind Freak do something? Please do it, okay? Obviously,
hey, Slimy got nice in that 13-4. I'll give him that.
The debate's normal, okay? It's business as normal, okay? Rooster beating Mind Freak, okay? It's a normal match day. I'm not allowed in ECL anymore. It's banned. We'll talk about the forfeit as well. Obviously, Vantage got a victim of the ESL rules, and which is you got to have 3 members of a team to play at least. I think it's 8 maps. It used to be 8 maps, like 8 games. If you don't have those 3 players at the start, you just forfeit the map, and that's what happened there.
I'm being controversial. Fuck it. I understand. Like, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm not going to say anything. Well, obviously Omi, but then the other person.
Yep.
I personally don't think that Vantage should be playing because they don't have Core 3 from last season. Mm-hmm. I think it should be the next team. But then again, like, that's my personal. Like, I understand they you know, what's it called? Like, they're good org. They've got players that are seasoned. Yada yada yada. But it's like a sort of a kick and dick to like the next sort of teams where it's just like these teams, like, you know, they don't need Core 3 to play in the next season of ECL.
What do they have the Core 3? I think they have Night Raid, Jinx, and
Jinx isn't Core.
And Drox. But he played he played last season though.
He played 1 game last season.
That's what it is.
He wasn't
as per the rulebook. I'm not sure.
You need to play more than 50% of your games to be considered Core.
Yeah, that's a.
But like,
I'm just saying, maybe they should bring back Vision. Like, they could just bring back Vision, get them to play the 8 games, then they could put Jinx in, and that's, you know, wrapped up. It depends on the ESA decision. I don't want to go into it too much because obviously it's a bit controversial. But
no comment.
Yeah, just let's get out of it, okay? Overall, I think like by the rulebook, technically,
you'll hear news soon.
Like, technically in the rulebook, I think they're in. Okay, that's what I meant. Like, I think I think they're in because Jinx is technically Core. But I reckon to be like really doubly safe, you just get Vision to play the 8 games or whatever required games he needs to play, and then you can switch your new guy in and you're fine. I don't know, but anyways, let's just get off that topic. Let's get up to.
No comment.
Yeah,
you can't really get Vision to play. I'll say that much.
We're gonna poke with a big stick, okay? We're gonna put him in the server.
Vision, get in, you prick.
Let's get to the next one, okay? Being a player, being a content creator, because you, okay, and Rufflecoat and a few others, so you put out shorts and videos, as yourself, Eddie, and whatever. Like, how do you do it? Like, how do you think of ideas for your videos in particular? Like, is it more inspiration? Is it more like what you've learned and you want to share it to everyone else? Like, how do you do it?
My shorts were pretty much a lot of inspiration is from Austin, that Austin bloke. I haven't looked at his like YouTube feed and been like, oh, I'm gonna steal this one for one sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like that was like my sort of inspiration because in OS, we had like Roflico doing those demo reviews, doing those like defrag videos. Eddie's always streaming, and like I was just like, there's not really like 1 minute like snack bite like pieces of content that's out there. And obviously doing those tips and tricks, especially from an OS player, but I wanted to differentiate it from just being like, oh, this nade set is really good. Why is this nade set good? How is this nade set good? How can it be best utilized, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Getting the ideas is sort of like, not gonna lie, like I went through my strat book. Well, not really through my strat book, but like I went through like, oh, this smoke would be good. Like, obviously, like, the first one's, like, you know, your instant Mirage window smokes. Everyone can do that. So I did a video on that. The ancient CT smokes, T smokes, all those, they did good. And then it's just, like, one of those ones, like, oh, this would be a good idea. Oh, that's in the strat book. I can't use it. Shit. Oh, this one would be really good. Oh, that's in the strat book. Shit. I was so thankful that when Triplets came in, like, Triplets came IGL, he's just like, we're permanent banning Vertigo. And I'm like, sweet, I've got this insane Vertigo smoke. And then I went to bed and I woke up with 700 likes on Twitter. So I'm like, bang. So
I guess you could probably post all those shorts and they don't know if it's in the strat book or not, okay?
Yeah, that's true. Like, the other teams won't know.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like, a couple of the ideas is mainly like me just like thinking, oh, this would be good. Oh, that's on the strat book. Yeah, that'd be good. But that boost one I've released, not the Dust 2 boost one, but like the 3 boosts that would be good. I released that the other day and it was funny. I was versing BNK in a scrim and there was the one on Nuke where if you've watched it, where it's like
Yep.
you can pick back credit and to hold silo.
Yep.
And then I remember like they did that exact same outside set, and I'm like holding silo. No one picked me silo, so I just jumped on top of credit and I got a kill.
Yep.
And as soon as I got that kill, I dropped off and rotated. I'm like, I immediately thought I'm putting that into my short for tomorrow.
Yeah, because I saw that, because that's the one where you're in silo. Silo's got a big advantage, but the problem is the biggest weakness from silo is if you don't control mini, because you're just like a sitting duck. You're like this guy showing your entire body at the top of silo if the mini person enters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's such a strong position. Like the silos in both A and B are actually such strong positions, but it's just got one glaring weakness, which is if anyone peeks ramp, because on obviously B entrance into the B side, because obviously you're on the top of the silo, you're out in the open. And then on A, if someone goes for a mini, because you're also on top of the side, out in the open.
Yeah.
But it's got like such good angles where you can see their legs, they can't see you.
Yeah, exactly. You can see them, they can't see you. You can easily get a kill, jump off, and execute's coming, you can block and then just jump off sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think one of your best ones, I'm going to say, is the Dust 2 one, because it's really helpful to pugs as well, because like you showed a way on how to reliably boost up. Because just you see so much pug sometimes in games where people can't fucking boost Dust 2, okay? Like they miss the jump or like don't boost enough. But you showed a consistent way on how to do it. And I think that's like sorry, you go. Do you look at that sort of content where you'd be like, hey, like, I found this new cool thing, and then you look on YouTube if anyone's done it and they're like, nah, let's put it on.
That one in particular, like that was a thing in Go.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's been doing that since Go, but no one. When I was like going through my shorts or thinking of ideas, I haven't seen anyone actually redo that one in particular.
Yeah.
So like that's why I like started it. But like this is like something that we used to do in Go, but now it's been reintroduced. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, it was like one of those ones which like I feel like a lot of amateur players as well, like whether it be domestic or international, they could just hit level 10 and face it.
Yeah.
They never played Dust 2 on CS:GO, and then they realize, I've been boosting short the wrong way this whole time. Yeah, it's like stuff like that where you just like me as well. It's just like never really thought about it because like I've known about it for so long, but like one of those ones where it's just like if I didn't know about it, holy shit, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah, also I was going to say, like, with this content creation as well, like, how do you balance it with, like, scrims and whatnot? Like, you're going to make a piece of content, it can take, sometimes an hour or 2 hours. How do you balance it up with being a player and doing scrims and whatnot? Like, do any sides get priority? Like, do you give priority to obviously being a player or content creator? Which one's more important?
Player more important for me at the moment.
Yep.
At the moment, because like I'm so busy, and I'm going to be a lot more busy coming up, especially because I'm working like just under 30 hours a week, got uni, scrims, and whatever. So I've got a girlfriend, so it's like I've got to manage my time more appropriately. But at the moment, it's just like I finish. Like on my days off, I do the editing a lot.
Yeah.
Because like Jason from Arcade has helped me out a lot with the editing because I was a bit of a novice when it came to Sony Vegas. Like I just knew how to cut and paste. And,
all right, you're the same as me. Don't worry, I use DaVinci, same thing as well.
Yeah.
What?
And then like, then he gave me all the appropriate tools. Like he gave me some like websites to like help me with. He gave me I called him one day and I was just like, how do I make a short? How do I make a TikTok? And then he gave me the format or whatever. He said pretty much use this as a template and then you can just copy and then paste event attributes. So instead of just doing it for every single time, I can literally just like copy one bit, select the whole thing, paste event attributes, and it just perfectly does it all like how I used to.
Yeah. Also, Jason, get into my DMs. I need an editor. Nah, overall, like, what sort of editing program would you recommend for someone starting off on? Like, I'd recommend DaVinci, but you got a better idea on this.
DaVinci.
Yep.
I've heard good things about it. I have gone the illegal route by getting. Oh no, it's not illegal. Definitely not. I've totally bought Sony Vegas.
It is free download.
Yeah.
Because I've got the free version. Yeah, I've got the free version.
Yes, I've totally got the free version, not the pro version of Sony Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh,
not Sony. I'm talking about DaVinci, mate.
I'm talking about Sony.
Okay.
I would use DaVinci because I think I was having a conversation with Void about this, and he pretty much told me that DaVinci, it's pretty much the same as Adobe and whatnot. But also, once you want to go to those sort of platforms, they give you tutorials on how to actually properly use them.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you want to go to Premiere Pro, it'll give you a tutorial or a manual bit, like how to, do what you did on DaVinci, but better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So DaVinci does a similar thing as well, like where the tutorials are a lot better to do, essentially.
Exactly.
So
DaVinci is really user-friendly.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to say this in particular, like, what sort of content should players do if they want to get into that content creation side? Like, what are the main, like, categories or aspects in particular, like, of CS content?
The CS content?
Like frag movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to go for. Like, obviously, if you want to be a player, and, like, you're trying to, your aspirations is to be a pro player in this game. Obviously, doing your frag movies, doing, like, your voice com videos. Voice com videos are really good. I want to do a lot more. I didn't record my comms for yesterday, which I'm spewing about. But, like, voice com videos is something that, like, everyone likes to watch. And if you just have time to stream, I feel like even if you have, like, if you're, like, even, like, a 2 or 3 viewer Andy or something like that, like, highlights, like, face-it highlights, like, when you're streaming, I used to do them back in the day. I used to get Yish to, like, get, like, a game. So, for example, if I popped off on a game, I used to get him just to, like, cut it and then, like, put it in a YouTube video. People sort of get around that sort of content because it, like, adds a personality behind a face-it pug sort of thing.
Yep.
Like, those sort of things is good. If you want to go for, like, full content creation, you can go from, like, what I'm sort of doing to, like, informative educational videos, or just going down the only pixel and arrow road and just being like skins, gambling, woohoo!
Yes,
cases, vamos, gimme golds, woohoo!
Vamos! I love that.
Vamos, vas. But skins is popping off for, like, fun.
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh, of course. Like you got your gambling side. I mean, from a player perspective, as you said focus on your frag movies, focus on your com videos. Everyone loves them. And then if you want to slide out of getting pro player, it's education, the demo reviews as well, that Ruffleco does as well.
Yeah. I feel like an OS... Oh, I was going to say, I feel like an OS we cover them as well. Like, I'm doing the short content, Eddie's doing the streams.
Yeah.
I wish Eddie did a bit more in terms of, like, posting face-it highlights onto his YouTube. But then again, that's, like, more time out of his day.
Oh, jeez.
Or, like, if he wants to pay someone... It's hard being a professional bum, I know, for Eddie. I'm kidding. I love him. But, like, if he wants to pay someone, that's going to be expensive. If he wants to do it himself, it'll take more time out of him. But then, like, James's Ruffleco's doing, like, the demo review analysis sort of stuff, which is, like, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, comms videos are going to be really sick.
Yep. So you're just going to go for that comms video route, next content, obviously. No, I was going to say overall for Eddie, like, it's really hard for him to do content as well for extra because he's doing observing as well.
Yeah, he's at EWC. He's on his way home now.
Yeah, because I remember, like, doing it, and, like, going, shit, you're observing as well? Like, how the fuck do you stream?
He doesn't know either. Yeah. Bro, I remember, like, back in the day, he was, like, an inspiration on, like, my content because, like, when I was on Eliminators with him, we would finish scrims at, like, say, for example, 9 p.m. And that's when we'd all go, like, have our dinner, have our debrief, whatever. But, like, as soon as we'd finish debrief, like, yeah, I'll say, like, 9 o'clock, 15 minutes later, I'd get a notification on my phone, Bowser Zero has started his stream. And it's just, like, and he'd stream till, like, 1 a.m. Jeez. And it's just, like, holy shit, like, how can he do it? If he can do something like that, I can stream a lot more, I can do this a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, like, all the tips and tricks of being a content creator and whatnot. Is obviously, let's just summarize it, I guess, but if you want to, get someone who knows how to edit and help you out a bit. Like, Jason, for example, helped you out quite a lot. Find out the areas that you want to really zone in on, whether you want to go for the education route, or do you want to look fucking cool on YouTube, or you want to, like, hype up with the gambling and the adrenaline rush and whatnot. Is that the other one? Yeah. Choose where you want to go. Yeah. And then just execute, okay? And then research on, like, areas where something's missing. Like, for example, your Dust 2 boost video. There's been none of them. Yeah, let's put it in there because someone's going to be like, fuck, how do I boost Dust 2 and CS2? It just fucking came out, tell me. And I guess he foggers up first.
Yeah, exactly.
Any more?
And, like, Find your niche, I suppose. Like you sort of like said that as well. Like find like what do you want to focus on. But like if you can sort of like find a niche in the market, you can like capitalize on it and gain an audience from that. I think I said that in my analytics thing yesterday, where it's just like when I posted that tweet about my analytics, and it's just like I sort of experimented it with the 28 days, and it was like it was sort of content that people actually enjoy, even though like people have their worries. People like not worries. People talk shit, and I get it. But it's just like the numbers speak. Short-term pain, long-term gain, as I said. But yeah, like to add to that, like Dust 2 thing, like I remember like the first 2 days it didn't do anything, and then it now has 10,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah. Also, as well for analytics, another thing as well, don't get too caught into it as well as a content creator, because sometimes your YouTube videos, as you said just right then, it did nothing in the first 2 days and just fucking went balls to the walls. It could be just wait for it to just get into the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like as well, like when I release them at like 5 p.m., I mainly do it 5 p.m. because that's when it's like peak time for domestic. A lot of it's weird. You see, Twitter it does well, like in the domestic time zone. YouTube does well like around 1 or 2 a.m. And then TikTok it's like consistent, but like that picks up at around like 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. sort of thing. It's just like knowing your audience sort of thing, and like I don't get caught up on the analytics. I'm just doing it for the fun of it, to be honest. But like, and it's also like as you said, like sometimes it goes into the algorithm, sometimes it doesn't. But like, you know, if you're proud in your work, it'll do well.
Yeah, because I always say
that's all I can
say. Always hear from YouTubers, and even talking when I was talking to Shocks in particular as well about it. She was always talking about it's all story. Like it's all the story that you build. Don't worry about the numbers. Build a story first, and the numbers will come with it.
Exactly. Build the audience first. Once you grab the audience, then the rest will follow.
Okay, now let's talk about the last subject. Okay, this will be a quick one because there's not too much of them, and we've already briefed on it already to begin with. Rooster and B&K changes, okay? We had, obviously, let's go through the Rooster changes first. Obviously, Nedic leaving of the worst kept secret of the talent roster, apparently. We talked about it already. I think just a brief summary of that in particular chat is that Nedic left a bit of a gap in the team. I think you mentioned TJP and ASAP like took some of his roles, and Hats has just fit in there. Is there anything else we want to like really touch upon in like how much losing Nedic has impacted Rooster?
Like they got the best replacement they could. Like as I said earlier, like Hats is probably still one of the best players in Australia. Like mainly from his experience, but also like his mechanics. Like I have seen him grinding as well. Like I was playing retake just for fun. I've been starting to play a lot more retake recently. And I just see him in there just like playing for a couple hours a day. And it's just like you don't really see other players like doing that. And his mechanics are just like really, really sick still. And his experience as well is going to be really good for them. Nedic leaving is like obviously really bad. Like it impacts them a lot because he was set up and he was consistently like their best player. But also like if Chell made him the player he is, then he can slot, and if TJ slots into those roles, then he can sort of mold TJ into an actually good player. Which I hate to say it. Fuck that guy. I'm kidding.
Dude, I gotta say, Froggus, you're not the only one that always says fucking TJP, okay? Like, I hear this so much, like, every time, like, TJP is like, he's like, fucking TJ.
Bro, I remember, like, I was scrimming them the other day, like, last week, and then, like, he got a triple on Mirage, like, swinging top stairs, and I'm like, this fucking idiot cunt, why is he swinging top stairs? And then everyone's just, like, pissed themselves off, like, sorry, won't happen again.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good though.
Yeah, I'd say overall, I think Hats, I agree with you. Best replacement they could get. I mean, you want a veteran person that can just slot into any role. Good with pistols, I suppose, as well. Hats is very good with pistols, and he's just been hitting the retakes as you said, still pracking, still figure. Because Rooster's still got to stay hot. They've still got that peak going on, even though they've lost Nedic. They're still in that stage where they can challenge FlyQuest, and they need a player that can challenge them right now.
Exactly. They need a player that can challenge them now. And Jordan in his comfortable roles as well. And if he's grinding, They're going to be really good.
Now, next up, we're going to go to B&K. And B&K, well, they got the heart and soul ripped out of that team in particular. Like, they lost Addict, which is one of their clutch players, one of their good players. And they lost Hazard, which is their anchor. Okay, and he was a very good anchor. Because every time I saw him on B site and Vertigo, I'm just like, yeah, people aren't entering the site unless he misses a shot, mate.
Yeah. Versing Jared Hazard on Vertigo, like, especially on Vertigo, like, and then you had Addict in mid on Vertigo as well. It's just like, can't really penetrate that. That was a fucked bomb site.
Yeah.
Like, losing those two is really, really hard for them. And, like, their current roster, like, as I was saying earlier, like, it takes a bit of time to develop under Toby's system.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's a really, you can't really replace those two.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that to discredit, like, Omi and Apoc, like, in Tom.
Yeah.
Like Tom's insane. Mm-hmm. Omi's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just hard.
Yeah, I think it's overall, it's like a bit more than it's just like really important roles that you have to replace as well. Like, it's not just one star player role when you've got a few supporting stars, like in, you know, for Rooster with Danger, he can clutch up, obviously ASAP, and obviously TJP as well. They can move around and adjust those roles. B&K is just like, well, we've lost our main playmaker, and now we've lost our main anchor as well, and it's just like, how do we go from there? We've got to have to build it up a bit. And you said as well with Brace Assistant, like, it'd take a bit of time, and it's just like, crap. Like, I think overall, Vertex have suffered through this like many times as well. So I'll give it to them that they've had so many setbacks. I mean, that's Vertex when they had Ruffleco banned, then they had was it Tenzai quitting as well, and Soju leaving to Chiefs and whatnot. They've been through so many trials and tribulations that I feel they can probably bounce back from this, and they understand that this is just part of the process. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard one. And
that's the one thing I can talk about Toby is his resilience. Like, he's gone through so many setbacks.
Yeah.
And like he's a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think I went a bit too hard in the shit talk yesterday, to be honest. And like, he's a good friend of mine, and he's really resilient. Like, he's always rebuilding no matter what. And like, yeah, as you said, like, they've gone through so, like, with Toby leading, like, he's gone through a lot, and especially with like players leaving, players, you know. But they've got like Damio, who's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
You know, they got Tom, who's a fucking dog. He's a dog.
yeah. Remember, he's not your best friend anymore. You can talk shit about him.
No. But as soon as, I'm not gonna lie, before, it was so funny. I told Tom the story because I heard the rumor before anyone else. Well, like, not before anyone else, but so I knew something was going on, and this is like only a couple of days in, and I remember, like, I sort of like got a clue on what was happening, and then I remember I just joined TeamSpeak at 1 p.m. on like a random afternoon, and I just saw Tom in TeamSpeak with your Wombat and Toby, and I was like, I wonder what's happening there. I've just kept it to myself for like ages, and then as soon as like Tom came out and said, this has come, and I'm like, I sort of known for a couple of weeks now. But like, he's I'm really, like, it's really good to see Tom doing really well though. Like, I really like Apoc that he's like doing really well, and you know that's what happens when you don't have to IGL foggers anymore. You can actually start like focusing on your own game, and he's like yesterday, he was a really big reason as to why they beat us at Anubis. Like, and I think against DXA, he was doing really, really well, and like investing them in scrims, like Apoc, he's just farming us.
Do you think Apoc Dud and Omichel in particular, could they develop into a similar role to Hazard and Addict, or is that just they can't be replaced, and the B&K might have to turn them over in particular to look for another rifler that's up and coming?
I think Omichel will take a bit longer to develop. He's really sharp.
Yeah.
But Hazard was just on another level. And then as well, they got an AWPer. They went with an AWPer. So
Dan goes back on the rifle. Apoc Dod. I think is Tom on the
AWP. Tom's on the AWP. Yeah, yep. Damio is their strongest rifler on that team. I feel like I don't want to I don't want to say this in like a negative light.
No. Just be honest. Like, dude, like if you on their team, they would want that honesty too.
Yeah, like looking from an outsider's perspective, I feel like there's 3 people in there that are IGLs.
Yeah.
Like I think there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And like obviously it's going to be hard balancing the voices as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like because there's so many chefs,
yeah,
like that could also lead to like I don't want to say lead to a downfall. Like obviously I could have a bit of bias as well because I took a map off them, But like I feel like there's like a lot of chefs in the kitchen, and it's just like not only will it take time to develop Toby's system, but also there's a lot of voices, and once they like, I don't want to say quieten their like all the voices, but like I don't mean that in a negative light, but it's like once they balance the voices, then they'll start becoming like a lot stronger. So then they can start,
Yeah.
But as well, like Damio is a really strong rifler. Like Will's a good rifler. Toby's rifling is not the greatest, but like he's good. He's really good, like brain wise. And Omichella's a really strong rifler. And Tom's a really. I think Tom, not gonna lie, he's like the second strongest rifler on that team. I really want to say that, but he's like a really strong, like because he's just like such a great player.
Yeah.
Like, but he's like, not to glaze, but like he's like probably one of the better players. And it's just like, and also like 3 IGLs, it's just like gonna take a bit of time. Yeah. But I feel like they can make it happen.
I was gonna say, I remember back in the day when Apoc didn't want to AWP anymore, and it's like, bro, you're cracking the server. Like, what's making you not want to AWP? But it's good.
Going from Chiefs to Vertex, and he went from AWP to rifle.
Yeah. Like I was like surprised when I heard that rumor. I'm like, what? Like you're killing them. Like, get back in the big green. But I kind of agree. It's really hard to get that Hazard sort of role because Hazard's that consistent anchor, and with Addict in particular, they can switch that star player role to Damio. It's kind of like a Rooster situation where Damio can be that star player. You've seen Damio clutch out before. You've seen Damio pull the, have you ever heard of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Okay, obviously NFL team, where they win on bullshit plays. That's Damio, okay? No. He just goes bullshit everywhere and he just wins, okay? So it's like Damio wins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's just...
I've seen Damon just do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like... He's crazy. I love Damon.
I remember when they played with Antoine and stuff like that, Esper, okay? And he was clutching like 1v4s, 1v3s, similar to ASAP as well when he played for Rock Candy. He was winning 4v5s, okay? He was carrying his team solo. And I remember saying when they forfeited, I'm like, ASAP's probably going to be a Rooster in the future. Like...
Yeah.
But Damon...
Oh, God. Damon's a beast.
On Esper was just insane. And I remember playing with Antoine. This is a funny memory of mine. And Antoine was in a 1v4. They didn't expect him to clutch in Vertigo. And Antoine won a 1v4. Half the player teams had disconnected. And they all came back on nervously when he won a 1v4.
They're like, oh, fuck this, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
But
Damon on, Esper and then also Sunday School.
Yeah.
I think he went like 19 maps in a row where he had a positive HLTV rating.
Mm-hmm. You reckon he could...
like even though Sunday School was a pug... Oh, sorry. I could say even though Sunday School was a pug team, but like if he's doing a 19 green ratings in a row on HLTV in a pug team with no system, sort of like tells like what sort of player he is,
Yeah. You reckon he could be built into someone like Addict in particular? I'm gonna say yes. Like I reckon he can be built into Addict. I think he's already got all the tools necessary to do so. But what do you think on that one?
Christian's playstyle is a bit different. Like Christian was a play like his playstyle was very like Nico-y in the sense of like he's a star rifler, but he won't take as many risks.
Yep.
Whereas like Damon, he is a star rifler and he'll go for a lot more risks, and like he's a lot more intuitive based.
Yep.
And like Christian is like very reliable. He'll always get his like 20 kills, right?
Yep.
And he'll always get back and like he's very reliable in a sense. But and like he'll always like he's just Addict is so good.
Yeah.
But like Damon isn't scared to take risk. Like he's like the hazard risk, but with the Christian style.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like he's a mixture of both. And like in terms of like I don't know. Like I reckon Damon he's gonna be very pivotal for their success.
Yep. And do you think Omocello can be built into an anchor role? Could he reach up to the standards of Hazard? I think he's got potential. He's shown some like high quality parts where he's able to hold sites by himself when he was in advantage.
He's sharp.
Like,
to get a Hazard, it'll take years.
Yep.
Or not years, maybe seasons.
Yep.
But like he's really, really, really sharp mechanically. Like versing him on Vantage. Like I'd always say, like we were like even though we'd always lost the Vantage, but I feel like stylistically they came good against us because like we just wouldn't expect like someone just to push you and get 2 kills sort of thing. Like we'd be half set up for it, but then Drox would just peek you and then get 2 kills, and it's just like, that's chill. Yeah. Or like Omichella, you'd run into a bomb site and he'd just get a 3k on you. It's like, that's chill. Not so chill. And it's like if he gets this confidence that he did on Vantage, then he'll be like, then Toby can like sort of build him into that sort of player. I think like Obi's biggest weakness is his T side. Like because obviously he's a big pugger.
Yep. And
he loves his face it. And like going from like playing face it to like the roles he is on his T side, it's just like a bit different.
And if he can like
it's like if he can adapt, like if he can make his sort of adapt his playstyle into his roles, then he'll do really well and he will like be really good for them.
Yeah.
But like his CT is already really good. And to turn into like a Hazard sort of player, like it'll take seasons, but I reckon he could do it if he actually puts in the work.
Yeah, I reckon the big thing for Omocello in particular, like CT side on his Anchor and Inferno is very good. That's what I was noticed when I was casting, as far as I can remember. It's just you got to keep that consistency, especially on the T side, as you mentioned as well. Like his T sides can be up and down. If he keeps that consistency, I think he'll become that Hazard player as well, but in his own way. Obviously, he won't become exactly like Hazard, but it'll be like if he matches consistency, he'll be a good player in his own right. And something that BNK do need as an anchor or a player that can just get free kills. The transfers are great. I've seen him do like really good spray transfers as well. Even though he goes 1-for-1, that other player's on like 2 health.
Yeah, exactly. He gets his 1.5 and he's on.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll say that's pretty much it because I don't think there's any other changes we need to talk about at this stage. Because obviously, the last time we talked about the roster mania, poor Eddie was sweating because he didn't want to leak any roster moves.
And everyone was egging him on as well.
Yeah,
everyone was like, leaking. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah. But anyways, that's going to be it for the podcast. This is a very long one, actually. It was very enjoyable
2
as
hours.
well. We got to, almost 2 hours, actually. But we got a lot through it. And also, as well, discussed a lot as well. And might have to divide it into 2 parts, mate, okay? We're going to leave him on the cliffhanger, get the vantage point there. What this fog is really big.
Hoax, I got the license review. I can speak to anyone offline. I was like, I got my opinions.
Yep.
Free Cody. Cody's a beast. I love Cody.
Oh, everyone loves everyone in the AU scene, okay?
Yeah, when you were making those tweets today about like the golf clubs things, I was trying to make a meme around Exodia because there was the pot of greed meme as well.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was trying to like think of something witty in terms of like summoning golf club at Exodia.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I can't be fucked. And then I was like, this is another job.
I can't believe KO dumped Swede, okay?
Hey, listen, they have to go for their badminton buddies.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. With Foggers in particular, you can find Foggers' links, obviously, in this YouTube description video below. You can find it on stream as well. Or you can find it on my Twitter, on his Twitter. Foggers OCE is his Twitter. Any underscore, or is it Foggers OCE?
Just OCE. I put it in chat.
Yep.
If I get timed out, I'm blaming you.
I don't time out on links anymore. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. If you want to have more content like this, then obviously subscribe and in the comments below as well. Like if you want me to interview anyone in particular, feel free. Also, as well, next week's episode for the Twitch viewers, as well as YouTube videos, will be probably on a Thursday because I've got stuff on a Friday. So I'm going out on a Friday. So
you're going out, hitting that down.
We're actually doing darts, funnily enough, on the Friday.
Ooh.
So we'll try. I've got the guests lined up, but we're just going to confirm it in as well. But anyways, guys, Foggers, thanks for being on. Thanks for being a bro.
Thank you for having me.
And hope everyone has a great day. See you guys later.
See you.